Faida number 25 from the book Ma'rakatun Nas by Shaykh Bilal Ismail. And here he continues the discussion around ghulu and extremism. He gives a story that a lecturer, he was talking about a certain topic, and then he digressed and went into the topic of extremism for a short while. After the lecture was over, a talibul ilm, a student of knowledge, he didn't appreciate the digression in the topic. Why did you talk about ghulu? Especially in today's day and age. He said that this is not wise, this is not hikmah and wisdom. They asked him, what do you mean? He says, well, today people are falsely accused that they are extremists just because he has a beard, just because he prays 5 times a day, just because his wife wears a hijab or a niqab, etc. They label them as extremists. So this student of knowledge, he said, look, we shouldn't be talking about ghulu. Rather, the big issue is tasahul. People are being too liberal, etc., etc. He also mentions that talking about ghulu, this fits in with the Western agenda. They want us to talk about ghulu and beware of ghulu and don't fall into ghulu. He says also, many people, they talk about the topic of extremism, ghulu, to please their governments. They have conferences, etc., talk about wasatiyya and talk about the dangers of ghulu. They do this to please their governments. He says at the end of the day, the person who is extreme in his deen, at least this person is for Islam and the person is not against Islam. So these were some of his points. So the Shaykh says, Shaykh Bilal Ismail, he says that are these points, is this stance really correct? The above example, it indicates to us the sensitivity that some practicing Muslims have towards the topic of ghulu. So is this stance correct or is it incorrect? He says that it's incorrect. It's incorrect, dear brother or student of knowledge. It is incorrect. Why is it incorrect? He says, number one, do not underestimate the dangers of ghulu. Do not underestimate the dangers of ghulu. He also states that the extremist, the ghali, he cloaks himself in the garb of the deen, in the cloak of the religion, and thus it is a fitna for the people. The people, they love the religion, they respect the religion, and thus it's easy for them to then respect and love the person who goes into extremism. The hearts of many people then incline towards this extremist. Jayid. And he mentions the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we find not one hadith but numerous ahadith. He's warning us against the dangers of the Khawarij. The only sect that he mentions by name, we don't find authentic ahadith about the Shia, about the Murji'ah, about the Batiniyya, about the Mu'tazila, but we do find authentic ahadith warning us about the dangers of the Khawarij. Why? Because people love the deen, and when they see the extremist cloaked in the garb of the deen, speaking the language of the deen, etc., then they feel that so-and-so is fine, so-and-so is upon the haqq, and if so-and-so makes any mistakes, and it's proven to be a mistake, then what do? They make excuses for that group. They make excuses for that person. No, it's a small mistake. It's a minor mistake. They lighten the gravity of the matter. And this only increases the danger potential of the Khawarij and the extremists. Allahu musta'an. Remember, the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he warned us, don't allow the ibadah and the intention and the sidq and the ikhlas to blind you from the actions. The actions are incorrect. And then Shaykh Bilal Ismail, he discusses further and he mentions that even though the hearts of some are inclined towards the extremists, the hearts of many flee from the extremists and the actions of the extremists. That the extremist is very harsh, is very stern, is very rigid, not flexible. The extremist creates discord and not harmony, leads to disunity. What did Allah state about the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam? وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. That if you were hard and harsh and stern, then the people would flee, they would run away from you. Surah Ali Imran 159. And so When an individual, when a group, when they are easy, when they are soft-hearted, when there's kindness, then this here unites the hearts. Islam wants that the hearts come together, that we have ijtima, that we are united, etc. Look at Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu ta'ala an. When he was prolonging the salah, and an individual found that this was too long, and so he broke off and he finished his salah on his own and he left. Later on, when Mu'adh ibn Jabal complained about this person to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who did the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam reprimand? That man or Mu'adh? He reprimanded Mu'adh that you know better. Ya Mu'adh, afatanun ant? Are you causing a fitna, O Mu'adh? That don't be the reason for division. Don't be the reason for disunity. Don't cause others to leave the jama'ah, etc., etc. Right? The Sharia wants us to come together and not to break up and segment and be divided. Also, he states that this type of action, it is not sustainable. You are hard and harsh, etc. For the long run, this is not sustainable. It will weigh you down. You cannot maintain this level. This is not deen. This is not lifestyle that can be maintained. He also states that you will find amongst the extremists, you will find amongst the Khawarij, etc., that there's no flexibility. And because they are not flexible, anyone who disagrees with them, automatically he is excommunicated. You are outside of the fold of Islam. You are no longer a Muslim. And then what's the next matter? Then your blood is also permissible for us to spill, etc., etc. They are lazy in thinking. They cannot tolerate differences, etc., etc. Right? It's either my way or the highway. Allah musta'an. This type of mentality is completely incorrect. Allah musta'an. This concludes Fa'idah number 25. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us on the Sirat al-Mustaqim as we recite in our Surah Al-Fatiha. Ihdina as-Sirat al-Mustaqim. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen.